Alright, so I'm going to make applesauce. Here's the recipe that I'm going to be using. I was given these apples. I do want to add that as I get these peeled, they're just sitting in some lemon water right now just to, because just because. Anyway, as I peel them and core them, I'm going to put the scraps, so the peels and the cores, into this bowl. I'm going to use that to make some apple cider vinegar later. Alright, so I've done sliced up all of my apples except this one. I want to show you how to do it. I've got one of them, cores, but every apple is usually, different shaped. So it doesn't seem to work on all of them. And it's just as quick and easy to do it like this. I've got the rest of them already in the pot starting to cook. And basically we're going to cook them like you would do potatoes until they're fork tender. And then you're going to take an immersion blender and blend them up. And then you can add, and then that's when you would add your sugar. For me, I'm going to taste it first and see where it's at. I don't want to add sugar to it. If I do end up needing to add sugar, I'm going to add Splenda instead. That way it's, it's still got sugar because the natural sugar of the apples. But it'll be a little bit more diabetic friendly. There's just no way you can get every bit of that sugar out of it. There's no way. It's an apple. So let me do that, and when I get to that point, I will be back. This is what it's looking like. I've only got a cup of water in it. I know you wouldn't think that would be enough, but trust the process. Alright, so while I wait on the apples to cook down, I'm going to go ahead and get the apple vinegar started. I'm going to use this because you need, when you're making the vinegar, you need glass. But you use whichever size container works best for you. I got it about 3/4 full. No matter what container you're using, you need about 3/4. You need it to be about 3/4 full. Remind that. So let me wash my hands and I'll be back. Okay, so the recipe that I use is 1 tablespoon per cup of water. And for every 1 gallon, you use a full cup. Alright, so for this, it ended up taking 23 cups to fill up. That is 1 gallon, 1 quart, and 3 cups. So now, to this, we know we have 1 gallon. And see, for this, the sugar is going to feed the lactic acid enzymes to help this ferment. So that's 1 cup for the gallon, right? And then we need a tablespoon per cup. So that means I need 7 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That'll work. Be right back. Alright, now we're going to give this a stir. Now see, this is going to take 4 to 6 weeks to make. And at first it'll turn into an alcohol. And then it'll turn into a vinegar. But it's got to sit in a cool, dark place for 4 to 6 weeks. And you'll know when it turns to vinegar. You'll smell it. So I just put a little bowl in there to just kind of keep apples submerged as best as possible. Alright, now I'm going to use paper towel to cover it. It needs to be able to breathe, but not let flies in. So I'm going to use paper towel. If your jar is small enough, you can absolutely use a coffee filter. I've done that. But this one's got a big mouth, so this one needs something bigger. You want the recipe? I did write it down. Now, as far as my apples go, they are they are ready. Hold on. Now, look. See, I only added a cup of water. That right there come out of the apples. That's why you don't need a whole lot of water. That come out the apples. But since they're ready, I'm going to use my immersion blender. You can put it in a regular blender. That's all you have. But I have this immersion blender, and so that's what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to blend it up until it gets to the consistency I want. I think it's plenty sweet enough. Them red delicious apples. I am going to add some cinnamon to it, though, because I want some cinnamon applesauce today. I'm going to start with a tablespoon of cinnamon, just to see. Give that a stir, and I'm going to see how that tastes. I can add more. But I don't know, there's just something about apples with cinnamon. It's just delicious. Ooh, that smells wonderful. Ooh, I wish you could smell this. I think that's enough though. So there's another tablespoon of cinnamon. Let me get that stirred in, I'll be back. Alright, so that tastes like apple pie filling. Now, I already had my jars and my water over here. Heating up. That also sterilizes them. Not that they wasn't clean, but you know. And I'm going to pull 3 out at a time. So that way they stay hot. And I'm going to ladle in my applesauce until it reaches 1/2 inch headspace. And see, if you add more water, it would thin it out some. Now it's close enough to 1/2 inch to me, just eyeballing. Try to debubble if you can. I ended up with enough leftover I can have that for a snack later. But now, just like with the collard greens, and if my daughter walks by, she's doing dishes. Anyway, hot water or vinegar. You never use vinegar. We gotta wipe off that rim. Alright, now lids. And then with these, we just these we will crank down. Okay. And then we take them and we sit them in our water bath. Now I have to dump some water out. Let's see where it goes in a minute.
Hey, Oreo, I kind of need to move.